there, Lynx here, and welcome to Lost Girl. Well, I'm in a bit of uncomfort when it comes to talking, but we'll still record. And it's all because I actually got hit literally in the mouth with the soccer ball, or if you prefer, football ball. But yeah, I got hit literally in the face. Well, not in the face, but in the mouth, right? And like somehow the braces managed to cut me a bit, and it's annoying. Anyway, this time it took 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 1 day when it comes to uploads. That's how it works. I don't know why, but it works like that now. For them to plan their next adventure. Is it a tram? It looks like a tram. For mine be a bus as well, I guess. This one required Serena to use her monthly allowance from her parents to purchase 2 train tickets for an hour's ride to the countryside. It's a train. Are you sure? It's definitely not a train. It's a tram. It's got to be a tram. Come on. Come on, trains don't... I'm pretty sure trains don't have the freaking... whatever they are called, the freaking stop buttons anywhere. Or basically the handlebars like that, right? But what do I know? Technically I've never actually been on a train. Which is weird, but whatever. For maybe this not weird, because I mean, train is in Poland. They suck. No, quite literally. They are always late. At least 5 hours. 5 plus hours, you can count it like that. Layla told her she would pay for it, but even for money wasn't an issue for Layla. Serena would pay, wanted to pay for it out of principle. What do you mean? Did she pay like for the cafe? And now, sorry about that. Also, no, neck pains, whatever.
It's not a gift, she said, if you don't pay for it yourself. Whew.
Layla couldn't argue. As the two of them boarded the train, settling the chilled metal seats beside one another. No, it's a bus. It's definitely a bus. Like the pattern. Wait, can we do this? Come on. The pattern on the seats. It's definitely a bus. Serena hoped it would be an acceptable gift to celebrate the first month of them being friends. Although with how much the other had given her, Serena wondered if any gift would be enough to truly thank her. They met a few times over the 2 weeks between adventures at Labyrinthe, idly chatting while Serena worked on homework and began to finally start working on the first chapters of her novel. Though it was still a very rough draft, the time she spent with Layla had been an eye-opener, and it was as if the more time she spent with the Fox Girl, the more inspired she was to write.
Yeah?
The other influenced her in so many ways. All of them, Serena thought, for the better.
You sure you can give me even a tiny, teeny little hint as to where we're going? Not even a teeny one. It will spoil the surprise. It must be someplace to take a train nearly an hour away to sit. Especially with being a school night and all. It's not as if I can't stay home from a class a day, you know, if it really came down to it.
Staying home from school? Scandalous. Serena rolled her eyes, but she was smiling. Holy crap, is the meeting early in the morning today or tomorrow? Am I supposed to wake up too early today? I fucking don't remember. Whatever. As usual, Layla always knew how to draw a smile out of her, even if she was feeling down. Right now, though, she couldn't feel more elated.
It will be worth it, I promise. I'm sure it will be.
They spent the rest of the train ride in silence. Layla sadly stared out of the window, as if taking every bit of the countryside as she could, while Serena decided to take this free time to work on her novel. She had her writing notebook in her lap and had begun to write out the concept for her 4th chapter.
Nice!
When the train announcer announced their stop and the train began to slow to a halt.
We're here!
Like a schoolgirl going off on a field trip, which Serena supposed wasn't entirely inaccurate, Serena dashed out of the train. Layla followed suit, grinning at her childlike enthusiasm. When Serena got excited, it was like the whole world melted away around her. There was just her and whatever was capturing her attention. Whatever that was, Layla thought it was a lucky thing indeed. Without much of a clue of the area outside Everton, having spent her whole life cooped up within its boundaries, Layla had no choice but to follow Serena.
It's a nice place.
Not that she minded. She kept herself only a few steps away as Serena led them down an old country road, using only a single app on her phone. I'm not going to sing the country road song. I don't even remember the lyrics, so, you know.
We walk a couple miles this way and we should have no problems finding it.
Miles?
Must be pretty obvious if a girl with her head constantly in the clouds can find it so easily.
Serena elbowed the other playful in the arm, to which Layla chuckled. They both began to talk to fill the time while they walked, for both of them felt secure enough in each other's presences that they didn't need to. But both of them wanted to.
So, well, why all the way out here? Why not something in a big city? Or a tourist spot? Well, you didn't exactly grow up in a big city. But you grew up around streets and convenience stores and telephone poles.
Yeah.
But me, I grew up around dirt roads and fields and flowers. You showed me the wonders of your world, now I want to show you the wonders of mine.
For a moment, the fox girl just stared at the other, completely amazed that the other had thought so much about this. It made Layla's heart melt to know that the bunny truly did put her heart and soul into this adventure. I feel it.
I feel it too. Not to sound like an overpopular princess, but I would love to see your world. And I'm excited to show you. Though I hope you don't find it too boring. You're from the city after all, which is much more exciting.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Whoops.
If it's from your heart, Serena, it can't be boring. Besides, I haven't seen much of nature in the truest, realest sense. Most what I've seen of it are from the mayor's garden, or what I've seen on the internet.
Capital letter internet.
But seeing a picture of it on a blank screen is nothing in comparison to seeing it in real life. It will be exciting to see it, to really see it for the first time. Then prepare to be amazed.
At Serena's optimism, Layla laughed. It was a true laugh, one that she hadn't heard herself laugh in a long time. And Serena echoed that laughter with her laugh of her own, one that was like a symphony of happiness to Layla's ears. More than anything in her life, she truly desired to really see another person for the first time, to really see them. And Serena was opening herself up to her right now in a way she never thought possible.
It's just up ahead!
Serena dashed down the road, through a small patch of trees, out of the sight. Layla ran to catch up, hoping not to lose her. When she arrived on the other side of the trees, where Serena stood, she stopped and stared in disbelief. I forgot to switch the color of the lights, didn't I?
It's beautiful.
Sort of Katawa Shoujo vibes. There was like an area like this, right? There, all around them, was a field of never-ending sunflowers in the sunset. Unlike normal sunflowers, though, these ones were all shaded lavender and violet colors, completely unlike any picture she had ever seen. Yeah, I guess I've never seen sunflowers in that color as well. The fox girl reached out, which makes me remember. Like, my grandfather had in his garden some sunflowers as well. Man, sunflowers were good. I haven't had one in ages. Anyway, the fox girl reached out, hand above her head, and gently touched one of their petals, feeling the softness of the flower on her skin.
When I was little, my parents showed me this place. The people that own this field let these rare purple sunflowers stretch out for miles and miles, and they take great care in raising them. I remember my brothers ran through the fields, and it took nearly an hour to find them.
I didn't know they were so tall. They can be tall, yeah.
In the wild, the tallest ones can reach over 16 feet. As a kid, I always thought sunflowers were tall enough to reach the clouds, but when I got old enough, I'd be able to reach them too.
I mean, isn't 16 feet a lot?
But turns out I'm still shorter than even the sunflowers.
How much is sunflowers? How much is sunflowers? Oh my god. How much is 16 feet in normal measurement? Uh, 4.88 hundredth of a meter. Okay, that's quite a bit. It's like 3 lynxes.
You can only appreciate the sky fall from the ground. It always gives you something to reach for, and that's why I always like it right here, where it is. Think of these sunflowers as long as their term goes. They are taller, but with some effort you can reach and meet them. And the sky is like a lifetime goal. What you live for, what you will die for. You will never quite reach it, but you try to get as close as possible.
For a few minutes, all Layla could hear was the deafening silence of the autumn breeze. She turned her head to look at Serena, whose wide eyes were gazing up at her with amazement.
You're amazing, Layla.
Sometimes Serena forgot just how amazing until Layla said something so profound it blew her away. She felt her heart stutter as their eyes met. Serena lowered her gaze timidly, noticing the fox flash sticking out her back. She knew there was something she came here to say, and she knew she had to say it before she lost her nerve.
I did want you to see how beautiful nature is, to experience part of my childhood for yourself, but isn't that the reason I brought you here? Whatever it is, Serena, I can handle it. So, what is it?
With a deep inhale and exhale, Serena lifted the fox splash out her back and held it out for both of them to see. Layla furrowed her brow, tilting her head in confusion.
Fox splash. This is Felix. I've held on to him for a long time. Since the beginning of high school, in fact. For over 4 years now, he's been my only friend. I would talk to him all the time. When I was sad, happy, needed advice. He was the one person who wouldn't judge me. The one person who was always there.
Layla watched as Serena struggled with the words, the air hitching in her throat as she attempted to release all this information she had bottled up inside for so long.
But lately I've stopped talking to him. And I think the fact that he's a fox and that you are too. The fact that you were at the library in the spot I looked first where I planned to go to that Saturday morning a month ago. It's all been fate. I don't think those are just coincidences.
Serena, what are you trying to say? Serena steadied her nerves, her whole body was shaking, her heart pounding like crazy. Her skin was on fire. Why was it hard for her to just say this?
I'm saying that I don't need him anymore.
How could you?
And that's why I don't talk to him. That's why I haven't even thought about him all this time since meeting you. Because right now, all I need, all I want, is you, Layla. I feel like I was fated to meet you, and I want to stay by your side. Just like Felix has been by mine this whole time.
Another dreaded silence filled the evening air, and the sunflowers danced their melancholic song. Serena bit her bottom lip, begging for the other to say something. Anything. But Layla was speechless, and every time she opened her mouth to speak, it was as if the wind itself had stolen the words right out of her mouth.
I...
Eventually, Serena grew tired of waiting. It had been quite a while since they had been in the sunflower patch, and it was almost dark now. If Layla wasn't able to respond, then she supposed it would just have to wait until another day. For she hoped it could be in this place, surrounded by 1,000 lavender sunflowers under the eternal sunset. For even she knew these sunflowers would only last a few more weeks before they died to morning frost. Serena checked her wristwatch, and then let her arm fall back down as if it was nothing more than the death wave.
We should head back. The train departs in half an hour.
The bunny's shoulders began to sag as she turned away from the other towards the direction of the dirt road. Back to the train station. Back to reality. For this was only a passing dream. Serena thought that something like this might even be possible.
Serena, wait!
But just when Serena thought she couldn't be more surprised today, Layla grabbed her by the arm and turned her around until her faces were only inches apart. They both stared wide-eyed at one another in shock. Their breaths, warm, mingled across their lips. Layla, Serena realized, was shaking. She opened her lips, but it was not to speak.
Nice!
Under the falling sunset in the field of the lavender sunflowers, Layla closed her eyes and leaned in to seal Serena's lips with her own. Look at this CG. Wonderful. They were chapped due to the evening chill, but the sensation was warmer than anything Serena had ever experienced. So this what kiss feels like, she thought. And she thought so much, in fact, that she didn't realize she had not responded to it. That she had never even closed her eyes until she saw Layla's lashes begin to flutter open, and her face contoured into a frown.
I suppose we are both wanting completely different things after all.
The bunny opened her mouth to speak, but the word just wouldn't come. She realized now how hard it must have been for Layla just a few minutes prior to be hit with a wave of surprise, and then be expected to respond to it right away. And she felt guilty for expecting the other to respond to it so suddenly, when she herself knew she couldn't understand things so easily. She closed her mouth entirely, her face sinking in the dirt.
Let's head back then. No, that's not how it's supposed to end, goddammit.
The walk right back from the train station was cold, colder than any winter snow Serena had ever felt. This was the coldness that took place in Serena's heart, a frost that froze her entire body and soul. It was an ice she didn't know how to undo. What had gone wrong here, Serena asked herself, and how can I fix it? But it wasn't so simple that she could just answer it in her head, just then. She would have to spend the next few days and think it through, hoping she could come to some sort of solution. Something that wouldn't leave them both sitting 2 feet apart but feeling like a million miles away. Serena couldn't remember the walk back to the dorm that night, nor could she remember nearly anything about what happened since that night as the next week came and went. She thought about messaging Layla, but she didn't know where to start. She went to the library every night to try to see her, but Layla was nowhere to be found. Huh? The forgotten books really were forgotten, Serena thought, without at least one of them there to remember.
I miss her, Felix. I miss her.
The bunny girl was laying on her bed, her fox plush pressed tightly against her chest. Ever since that night, her heart ached with sadness and an unbearable longing to see the fox girl. But she had seen or heard no signs of Layla since that evening, since they kissed. For years, Serena imagined what a kiss might feel like, but she had been so focused on getting to college, too busy with her family, to even think about romance. The thought of dating someone hadn't even crossed her mind, and she certainly never thought about the gender of the person she wanted to kiss. And yet, her first kiss happened suddenly and unexpectedly, with a girl she would have considered up until that kiss to be her very best friend, her truest companion.
But, I mean, it kind of sounded like Serena confessed to her, but... What happened?
And now, nearly a month later, Layla was just... gone. Out of her life, and Serena didn't understand why. It's do be like that? There was so much she didn't understand about relationships, be they romantic or friendships. What was she supposed to feel now? What was she supposed to do now? Outside her bedroom window, she watched as the rain continued to pour down the window pane. It had been raining all week, so much that even some streets in the area had begun to flood. Serena knew it had been a while since the last good rain. That was necessary for the natural order of things, but she also couldn't help but think the rain was an echo of her sadness, her loneliness. The more Serena thought about the situation, the further her own emotions began to drown her. Was she not meant to have a friend? Was she not meant to find love? I feel like this game is trying to offend me here. Was this the god's way of telling her she was meant to be alone? That she shouldn't have tried to chase her dreams? Okay, seriously game, why are you attacking me here? Her tears began to echo in the rain outside, her cheeks the glass.
Why? Why can't I just have one? One person who accepts me, who loves me? Why? Lost girl, the game. It attacks me so much right now.
She had the desire to throw her fox plush across the room and pound on the bed like a kid throwing a tantrum. But she knew that it wouldn't help. It wasn't Felix's fault that this had happened. And it certainly wouldn't help to bother the neighbors with her outbursts. This was her problem, her fault.
If I wasn't so dense, so ignorant, I would know what was wrong. I could. I just want to fix it. But I don't even know what to fix.
A beep from her cell phone caused her to jolt, instantly grabbing it and locking the screen in the hopes that it would be Layla. And no, it was a notification from Steam. There are games on your wish list that are discounted. No, quite literally just popped for me, yeah. But it was a text from her mom asking her how school was going. She sighed. After failing that test earlier this week because she simply couldn't focus, Shirley didn't want to talk about it. She almost tossed the phone back onto the bed when she saw Layla's contact info. Her contact was red, much like her brilliant and fluffy mane and tail. Call her, 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 god damn it, call her. And Serena had even managed, after much persistence, to get Layla to pose so she could get a picture of her to put it in her phone. Wait, people actually do that? No, really, do people actually put someone's pictures into their contacts? I've never done that. Layla's face stared back at her, an embarrassed blush across her face. Serena's tears flowed all the more.
I want to see her. I want to see her.
She begged herself to press the button, her fingers shaking.
Just press it. I know it's tough, just press it. Press it.
But she couldn't. She was just a nuisance to Layla after all, wasn't she?
She kissed you, goddammit! You are not a nuisance, goddammit!
She didn't understand her at all. She doesn't even know how the fox girl feels after all. But was that really okay? To just disappear from the other's life? Do you care about her? Then don't disappear from that life, please. Fight. Fight! To let the other disappear from hers. Her mom messaged back again, and in motion meant to swipe away the notification. Serena accidentally dialed her number. Whose number? The call instantly connected, her mother on the other end.
Sweetie, how are you? You almost never call. It always worries me when you do, like you're in some sort of trouble and...
Serena broke out in tears at the sound of her mother's voice. Even from a young age, Serena would never cry in front of anyone except her mother. She would always hold back her tears until her mother was there or until she was alone, never wanting to shed them for anyone else. At first, she tried to hold them back from even her mother. But her mother always assured her,
I'll be your... well, princess, so just let your tears fall.
Why did I do that? I hate when someone does that. God damn it. And from then on, she always... I guess I hate myself as well. And from then on, she always bawled in front of her mother whenever she had the desire to cry on someone's shoulder.
Oh, sweetheart. I messed up, Mom. I thought that everything was okay, but I hurt her. I lost her. Sweetie, we all mess up from time to time. Are you sure you've lost her? Have you tried to talk to her? Dude, she's not in the lab where she usually isn't. I'm losing my voice. I'm too scared of hurting her. Of pushing her even further away. She hates me. Oh, princess, nobody hates you. Anyone who does is not worth holding on to.
Holy crap. Holding on to. Okay.
Mom, I'm serious. So am I. From what you've told me, that Layla seems like a nice, responsible girl. I'm sure all you need to do is talk to her. And if you still can't come to an agreement, then say your goodbyes.
I don't want to say goodbye.
Talk to her, but what do I say?
Serena was speaking between sobs, and she was sure that if it was anybody but her mother, they wouldn't have understood her. But her mother replied back earnestly, as if Serena was pronouncing every word like it was out of the dictionary. Her mother always liked to call it Mama Bear language, where Serena could say nearly anything and her mother could always understand it.
Tell her how you feel. How you really feel, Serena, and the rest will come. I promise.
How Shirley felt. Serena had been contemplating for days on that thought alone. But she hadn't quite been able to put it into words. Perhaps though, she didn't need the words. She just needed the feeling.
Tell her how I feel. That's right, dear. You're going to be fine. You can do this.
Inhaling and exhaling a few deep breaths, Serena nodded. She used the back of her sleeve to wipe away the tears and blew her nose into a couple of tissues. Her face probably looked like a wreck, but she knew it was time. She couldn't keep sitting in agony, doing nothing about it, and lose Layla forever.
Thanks, Mom. I'm going to find her. Be careful, dear. It is quite late. I will, Mom. Bye. Good luck, sweetie.
Hitting the end call button, Serena instantly set her sights on the contact she was staring at before. Layla's. Steadying her nerves, she hit the call button. Not surprisingly, Layla didn't pick up. But a few moments later, Serena received a text from the Fox.
I don't think we should see each other anymore. I need to see you. I won't stop looking until I find you.
She waited a few minutes but received no reply.
I'm gonna find her Lynx, and I'm gonna do it by myself.
Serena grabbed her coat and her umbrella, preparing to face the rainy night. With another deep inhale and exhale, Felix tucked away on her nightstand, Serena set out to find Layla. Wherever she may be. I like her. I like what she's doing. Fight. Fight for that girl. Fight for the Fox girl. That's right. You guys do it too. If you hesitate because you don't know what to do, go for it. I mean, don't do anything stupid, but, you know, the way she's approaching it, right? You're afraid of confessing? Cool. It's okay to be afraid, but do it. You will regret not doing it later. Serena began her search with the places closest to her, the places where Layla and she had gone on adventures. The places where Layla was most likely to be from, what Serena could gather from their conversations. She scoured Labyrinthe, every hole and every bookshelf. She even asked the librarian with the cold stare if she had seen her come in today. The librarian replied with her usual scowl, shaking her head. Serena doubled and triple checked, but she found no sign of Layla. She walked back out in the rain and began to search anew. Next she tried the convenience store, where they had met to go to the aquarium at. She looked around the premises on the sidewalks, and even inside. A little lighter. Yeah. Yeah. She asked the clerk inside if he had seen the fox, but he shook his head no. She stepped back into the store. She tried her the cafe, which was just down the street. But amongst the many patrons of the cafe, she found not one with fox ears. She asked the staff, but the answer she got yet again was that Layla was not to be found. The raindrops fell a bit harder as she trudged through them, but she was not yet defeated. Her next destination, she knew, was full of water and sea creatures. She did not have the time or the money to check out the whole place herself, so she simply checked the outside premises and asked the clerk, the same bright female she knew from last visit, if she had seen the other. The clerk shook her head, and Serena bowed in apology. She raced back outside. The turtle pin clipped in her hair seemed to feel a bit heavier against her forehead. Stealing one glance at her watch, indicating it was well past her bedtime, Serena ran. What bedtime? You have bedtime? Serena ran to the next destination. The park, where under the heavy clouds she could no longer see any sign of the stars. Fight! I'm totally squeezing that thing right now here, sorry. But she knew, inside, that the stars were still there somewhere. Just beyond the great storm swarming above her. She trudged on. She ran to the train station, where none of the attendants had seen a fox all night. She ran to the university, where no one was in sight. Would it even be open? She ran to the local shops and frowned. She had exhausted all her options, and Layla was nowhere to be found. Except Serena ran toward the closest one to her. A female student who looked as if she was on her way back home. Few were on the streets at this time of the night, and Serena was lucky someone was still around.
Please, miss, could you help me?
Yeah, what is it? The girl turned around and looked at her expectantly.
Do you know of the Rayland Manor?
Of course, everyone here knows it. It's the biggest place in Everton. All the owners are real sticklers and won't let anyone visit it. I'm shocked you haven't. Are you a tourist? We don't get many of those here.
No, nothing like that. I just started Everton College a little over a month ago and I want to see it. I know that must sound a bit strange since it's night and in the rain and all, but I fear I won't get to see it if I don't go now.
The young girl tilted her head curiously, but after a moment nodded.
Okay, whatever. I mean, it's not like it's mine.
She didn't quite understand Serena's desires or reasonings, but she knew that it was extremely important to Serena at the very least. She pointed down the street, and Serena followed her finger. It's down the street. Cross over onto Darwin Street on the left in about a mile. Then continue on until you see it up on the hill to the right. You can't miss it.
Thank you so much.
Her destination inside. Serena sprinted toward the direction of Rayland Manor without a second thought. Let's go, girl! Let's go! For quite a few minutes she wondered if the other had led her in the wrong direction or if she had truly missed it, but after about 10 minutes down Darwin Street, she saw the tip of a house peeking over the trees on a hill in near distance. Wait, shut the matter. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. About a mile. Wait, weren't you supposed to be a rabbit? You're fast. Okay.
You're there, Layla. You're there. Nice place.
Serena went to full sprint mode, using every inch of the power in her legs to get her there as fast as possible. She ignored the sign that said private property, lucky that the front gates were in fact open at this time of the night. She ran to the front door, which took her a considerable amount of time due to the vast amount of garden that spread out on either side of her that in the dark looked like a lush marshland. Upon approaching the large, ornate double doors, Serena looked up at the massive construct that was Rayland Manor. It was the largest building she had ever seen in person, probably twice the size of Labyrinthe, with massive dark peaks that bridged the sky. The roof was made of redwood that resembled a bloody sunset. Is it really made of wood? I feel like it's not. But whatever. Let's say it is. Its curved windows were like dozens of decorative mirrors, each one a reflection of the storm. The building itself was made out of coffee-colored brick. Oh, okay, the roof was made of... I'm thinking, why is made on... Why is... What? Is it the hour... Was it the fact that I was literally hit in the mouth and I was spitting blood for half an hour there and so on, but... How did I freaking not register that she was talking about the fact that the roof only is made of wood and not the entire house? How did I register it was the entire house? What the hell is wrong with me? The building itself was made out of a coffee-colored brick, with numerous balconies all arranged perfectly as if they were out of a painting. Thankfully, when she reached the doors, there was an overhang just before the doorway where she was able to get out of the rain. She unfurled her umbrella and held it at her side. She did her best to shake off all the rain, but after running for hours in almost flooded streets, she found that to be quite an impossible task. So, wiped down her hair, hoping to look presentable before she pressed her finger down on the large red doorbell near the side of the doors. She stepped backwards, waiting to see if anybody would answer. She waited very patiently, but even after nearly 5 minutes, no one showed. Time to break in. I'm kidding. Please don't break in. She pressed the doorbell again, hoping that perhaps it had just gone unheard the first time. Time to become the annoying kid. She wondered as she looked around the yard, seeing no vehicles and no lights on in the house, if anybody was even home at all. I mean, there might be none of that, but it doesn't mean Layla is not inside. After a few minutes of silence, she rubbed her knuckles against the door in the hopes that maybe the doorbell was just broken. I mean, couldn't she hear if it works or not?
Please, I swear.
Serena put a hand over her heart in the way she always did when she was trying to steady it, to keep it from beating out of her chest in anticipation. A few more moments passed and Serena's fist was nearly on the door again when the door cracked open in front of her.
Excuse my tardiness. What business do you have at the Rayland estate?
The woman who answered was in her 30s, a young maid who was in her uniform. Her hands were clenched in front of her and she looked at Serena skeptically and curiously. Serena bowed to the maid, her hands shaking as she steadied her grip on the umbrella's handle so as not to drop it embarrassingly.
I need to speak with Layla. Is she here?
Miss Layla. She doesn't...
You must be that friend she's been carrying on about. Normally she's so quiet, doesn't bring any friends home, but for the past month she's not shut up about you. At least until early last week. Poor girl, she's been locked up in her room ever since she came in that night. Do you know what's happened to her? The That's why I'm here. I need to speak to her, so if you would please.
What's all this, Charlotte? Who's at the door? Nearly jumping out her skin, and the familiar voice Serena had to stop herself from bolting the house as the pair of footprints, Layla's footprints, approached. Then she came to view, the beautiful sunset fox in all her glory, and Serena's heart flipped at the sight of her. Layla's eyes went wide as soon as she saw Serena, and then her mouth twisted into an agonizing look as she turned away.
Charlotte, get rid of her. But Miss Layla, she... Charlotte, I said... Layla!
Serena rose, her voice louder than she had ever spoken in her life. So loud that Layla and Charlotte turned toward her with eyes as large as saucers.
I need to speak with you, please.
Layla looked at her, her gaze softening but also growing sadder with each moment her eyes rested on Serena.
Hi. Miss Layla.
Why don't we invite her in for a tea? She's completely drenched and I'm sure she's freezing. I only have plain water right now. And it's saving me from losing voice right now as well.
We certainly can't send her back out with this. We can wait till the storm is over and then send her away if you wish. But I, for one, am certain not about to let a guest to Raylan Manor catch a cold on my account. It would be against my code of honor as a mate.
Now that's a great wink, woman.
Especially not one who is so kind with such proper manners as this.
Definitely, it was supposed to be manners.
You could learn a thing or two, miss. Save it, Charlotte. A cup of tea and some blankets. There we send her on her way. Send her to the study. Right away, miss.
Layla and Charlotte both retreated back in the manor, with Charlotte gesturing for Serena to walk inside. Serena, for fuck's sake, I keep changing that name, right? Layla instantly disappeared, walking off towards what Serena understood as the study. Let's get this.
Amazing!
As soon as she walked inside the entrance hall, Serena felt her whole body become light in beauty. The interior of Raylan Manor, it turned out, was just as impressive as the exterior. There were red velvet carpets with rosewood floors, golden portraits lined neatly on coffee brick walls. There were golden chandeliers and an ornate staircase spilling up to heaven.
This manor has been around for nearly 200 years, inspired by the European Gothic style. Rumor has it that the one who had this house commissioned was a writer of Gothic literature, but no one knows for sure. It has been passed down through the Ryland family for the last century now. Passing through 3 families, in fact, including this one.
As she spoke, the maid set about taking Serena's umbrella and placing it in the umbrella stand by the front door. She wasted no time in retrieving a towel and began to swipe Serena down, head to toe, with such professionalism the bunny girl didn't even question it or try to demand otherwise.
There you are, dry as a flame. I'll show you the study now if you're ready. Yes, if you wouldn't mind. Right this way, miss. Serena, was it?
Serena nodded. Apparently Layla had indeed been talking about her if the maid remembered her name, for she, in the moment, had forgotten to introduce herself. But Charlotte didn't seem to mind. I know it should be probably Charlotte, but whatever. It's Charlotte here today. After all, the maid had not introduced herself either. Layla had been the one to call her out by name. Let's... I'm not sure. Let Serena down a long dark wood hallway full of gorgeous Renaissance paintings with the occasional red flower cushioned bench situated opposite an ornate wooden mini-table with a bouquet centerpiece. Serena admired every bit of craftsmanship that went to this place, jealous that someone could live in a place so grand. But of course she knew even a place as grand as Rayland Manor wasn't without its loneliness. Layla had said so.
Miss Layla is right in this room, Miss Serena. I will bring the tea and blankets along shortly. Thank you, Charlotte.
Just as Serena approached the door, Charlotte disappeared deep inside the mansion to go procure tea.
Holy crap, I want some tea now.
Serena inhaled another breath, steadying herself to confront Layla before she twisted the handle and walked inside the room. For to be fair, I drink way too much tea lately. No, quite literally, like being at work and it being remote. I literally have tea. It's gone. To the kitchen, another one. Addiction, man, addiction. Addiction to the tea. Layla had already claimed her seat by the time Serena had entered the room, the large den desk in the center. Spread out in front of the fox was an open novel, which she had just looked up from reading, a pen holder, scattered papers written in dark ink, and numerous other office supplies.
I suppose Charlotte will be here before long? Yes. Then I suppose I'll wait for any serious discussions until after she has returned and left completely. I fear we both have a lot to say.
Serena nodded, her eyes downcast. She wanted to speak her mind now, but Layla was right. If she spoke now, she'd most likely just get interrupted by Charlotte, and she wouldn't get her point across in time. So Serena felt it best to examine the study while she waited. If there was any room she'd want to spend the most time inside the mansion, the study was definitely it. The walls were lined with bookshelves, nearly 20 of them, and each space on them was filled with books. There were 2 red cushioned couches and a coffee table with a rose flower arrangement. Not to mention the den desk with its padded desk chair, which was Serena thought nearly 10 times as big as the desk she had back in her dorm. Holy crap. Behind the den desk, Serena noted was a family portrait of the 3 foxes with a little girl framing the center.
I suppose you've never seen my parents? This portrait was painted when I was about 5 years old. I wonder what happened to that girl there.
She grew up! The young fox girl in the photo Serena studied was holding onto both her parents' hands and was smiling tenderly. It truly looked like a time when Layla was the most happy, before she was tainted with the plague of loneliness.
Up until I was about 7, my parents were almost always around. They were busy with work, but they always took the time to see me, to play with me. I was so happy. But sometime after my 7th birthday, they changed. I don't really understand why.
Have you talked about it with them? Maybe?
But they became obsessed with work, so much so that they let it take over their lives. They forced me to stay inside the manor after that, never to leave until I came of age. I didn't have anywhere to run to, so it didn't even occur to me to run away anyway.
It was comforting to Serena that at least Layla got to experience part of a normal happy childhood. But also made her sad that it ended so early in the other's life. She knew how easy it was for people to become obsessed, especially if it was over their life's work. If Serena and her brothers hadn't grown up on a farm working with their parents constantly, perhaps Serena would have never been in a similar situation. It made Serena even sadder to realize that Layla didn't have anywhere else she even wanted to go.
We can't make our parents' decisions, but we do have the power to make our own. And I believe that you do have a place to run to now. Or rather, person?
Serena. But before Serena could elaborate on that, Charlotte rushed into the room with 2 fleece blankets folded over her shoulder, carrying a full porcelain tea set on a tray in her hands. She sat down the tray in the middle of the coffee table, and the blankets down the couch, one on each.
I do apologize if I interrupted. If you two need anything else, then I'm just a bell away. Thank you, Charlotte. That will be all.
Serena nodded her thanks, and the maid disappeared, closing the door to the study behind her. Putting her ear to the door and listening. Serena wondered if they really did have a bell they used to summon my mates, like something out of the storybook, but she had more pressing matters to discuss than bells and mates.
So T. We have a rather complicated system, so I'll set it out.
Layla stood up from the desk and made her way over to the couch opposite of where Serena was standing. She began to methodically place the various cups and bowls into various places across the coffee table, all without disturbing the rose centerpiece even once. She poured and set down 2 filled teacups and their matching saucers, one on either side of the coffee table. She pointed towards multiple different bowls which were all lidded and filled with various substances.
What do you mean? This is creamer, sugar, honey, lemon, and the tiny tin has cookies.
Honey and lemon, let's go. This is the perfect tea. Honey, lemon, tea. I love it.
This looks amazing. She prepared it all so fast too. I swear Charlotte keeps a tea set on the ready at all times.
At that, Serena giggled. She sat down on the couch and began to prepare her tea. She took 3 sugar cubes.
What?
About 2 tablespoons full of milk and stirred. Yeah, I would use neither of those. Wait, I was supposed to try tea with milk, I forgot. Can someone remind me of that? Milk tea with sugar was always a favorite of hers since she was a kid. Lena herself added a tablespoon of honey and sprinkled it with lemon. Yes! Before casually taking a sip. The way she sat so properly made Serena feel out of place.
It's a black Darjeeling tea from all the way in India. One of the best teas money can buy. Charlotte always makes sure we have it on hand. It's a personal favorite of mine.
Serena took that as her invitation to drink. She lifted the teacup, and as soon as the liquid hit her tongue, she was punched with a barrage of flavor. The use of spices gave it a kick, but the milk and warmth of it made it feel like home. It smelled like cinnamon, and Serena cupped it in her hands as if she was holding a golden treasure.
It makes me feel all cozy. Charlotte will be happy to hear you like it. Yes, I am!
The sound from behind the door or whatever. Despite herself, Layla smiled. And Serena's smile deepened. But upon remembering the moment a week ago, they both frowned and directed their gaze to the black tea in their cups, while I looked on my water. Wait, why did I do this again? What the hell is wrong with me?
I know you might not want to talk about it, but I can't just ignore this. Just forget everything we did together like it was nothing. I can't not see you anymore and be okay.
I know it hurts right now, but time heals all the wounds. No, it doesn't. Not all of them. You will be okay eventually. No.
A life without you, Layla, without the one I care about most, is not a life at all, damn it. How am I supposed to be okay?
Serena was shaking again, her teacup chattering against the saucer. Layla set her cup on the coffee table. It was only half empty.
You've made it clear how you feel about me, Serena. And I've made it clear how you feel about me. It's clear to me that those aren't the same. What do you mean? Yes, they are! It hurts me too. Believe me. But we can't just keep going and pretend that everything is okay. I can't lie and hide my feelings anymore.
When Serena looked up, she saw a glaze of tears cross Layla's eyes, ones that matched Serena saw. Both of them were upset for their own reasons, and those reasons were both understandable. But there was something Serena felt would easily mend this.
Then don't! Huh? What? What are you saying? Don't hide your feelings, Layla! I want to see you, the real you! I want to see you, everything! I don't care how dark, how deep, I want to see all of it! I want to see you, Layla! And if you're telling me the truth, then you should want to see me too! So why are you trying to hide? Why are you trying to push me away? You told me once that I shouldn't run away from my feelings, that I should face them head on. I'm ready to do that, right here, right now, but it seems like you don't want to listen. That you've already decided how I feel?
At this, Layla stood up, her hands clenched into fists.
And what the hell else am I supposed to think? You walk up to me, tell me that you want me to be your forever friend when I'm totally in love with you. And you don't realize it.
Serena's eyes went wide.
Crazy wide.
She didn't expect Layla to get this emotional, and she didn't like that. Layla was upset, but she felt it necessary to let out all of their thoughts and feelings now. Even if it didn't work out in the end. That way she could go home saying at least she spoke her true feelings, and she tried her best. She gave Layla a firm, serious look.
And do you not think I'm in love with you? That the reason I want to be with you, want you to be my best friend, is because I love you. I always thought living with and loving my best friend was just a pipe dream, but with you, I felt it could actually be possible. And it's what I want more than anything in the world. Huh?
Layla looked as if someone had slapped her in the face. She was shaking, unable to comprehend what Serena was telling her.
But you didn't even kiss me back. Why?
Serena sighed, looking down her nearly empty teacup.
Because I was surprised. I knew you felt strongly about it, but I wasn't sure for sure what. And it took me a while to realize how I actually felt about it all. But I know now. I know that I love you, Layla. And I want to be with you. More than anything. Serena.
Before she knew it, Serena was in Layla's arms. Let's appreciate the CG once again. Very nice, wonderful, finally. Although the key had a coffee table and tea set between them, it felt as if nothing in the world could stop them as long as they were together. They held each other with a fierceness, afraid that if they let go, they would never be able to touch again.
I love you, Serena. So much. I love you too. More than anything.
When they pulled apart, Layla cupped Serena's face in her hands, and Serena felt herself give in to Layla's warmth. She was not afraid now, nor was she surprised. She knew how she felt, and even as Layla's mouth crushed against hers, she felt her lips crush against the others with the same amount of fierceness, of warmth. After a few moments, their lips parted. They both smiled, pressing their foreheads against each other's. I need a CG for that as well.
Let's never separate again.
1 year later. This is going to be a lengthy episode.
It's even prettier than I imagined.
Don't get too excited, you will fall in. Serena stuck her tongue out at Layla, ignoring her and continuing to run towards the water. When she reached the spot where the land and water met, she took off her sandals, allowing the chilled elements to sink through her toes. She felt the fall, ocean breeze against her skin and breathed in and out, a content sigh.
I don't know why no one comes here in the fall. It's so nice.
People are too obsessed with their scorching weather and shorts and sun umbrellas. Oh, you mean sunbathing? Sunbathing is boring. They'd save a lot more money if they came in the fall, honestly. The bunny girl chuckled and the fall girl smiled at her. Serena never got tired of Layla's sarcasm, nor did Layla get ever tired of Serena's wonder in everything. It had been a year since they had kissed in the study, since they had become girlfriends. Hell yeah! And their adventures, they decided, were only just beginning. Adventures like watching the Orionids meteor shower on the beach in the fall. They set out beach chairs and blankets just above the current tide, leaning back so they could get the full view of the open night sky. The stars responded by waving to them under the golden crescent moon. Serena was grateful she had listened to Layla and had agreed to spend the second to last weekend in October watching shooting stars. Oh, it's October actually right now. What the fuck?
There's one. There is one.
Every time a shooting star appeared, Serena pointed at it like a child who was seeing something for the first time. Although she had seen shooting stars before, she had never gone to a meteor shower with another person, not even her family or Layla until now. So this really was a first for her.
How many wishes have you made yet? Only one.
Just one?
But we've seen at least 5 stars by now. I'll need one to wish for you to be my side forever.
Layla couldn't help but blush, rolling her eyes.
You don't need to rely on a star for that, you know. I know, but it's the first one that came to mind.
Then, what about wishing for yourself?
For myself?
Not about the two of us or someone else, but for yourself alone. Your wish, Serena. Serena thought long and hard as her and Layla settled into a comfortable silence as they watched the stars glisten above them. If she had one wish, but she couldn't wish for something for herself, nothing to do with anyone else, then what should we choose? What would she choose? Eventually she settled on a wish, holding her hands over her heart and closing her eyes as if she was saying a prayer to the stars.
Then I wish for my writing to reach someone. Even if it becomes a forgotten novel like The Starless Magician, I want it to mean something to someone. And if I can touch even one person, that's enough for me.
That is so like you, Mrs. Star. Always wishing for other people's happiness. Even as your own wish.
But it's my wish to make others happy. What's wrong with that?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. In fact, I'd say you're doing a great job of it.
You think?
I couldn't be happier than being here with you. Layla reached over and took Serena's hand in her own.
I'm glad because no matter where we are, I'm always happiest when I'm with you.
Serena gave the other's hand a strong squeeze, and they both turned their attention back to the stars. They were here, together, hand in hand, and it was all they needed to feel happy, to feel at peace.
So, have you wished at all yet?
Just once?
Oh, we must have seen nearly 20 shooting stars by now.
Serena teased, mocking Layla's voice. Layla rolled her eyes, even though she knew Serena couldn't see it. But Layla was smiling, brighter than ever. I wished for us to be together. Forever.
Two wishes are stronger than one.
They both squeezed each other's hands, feeling each other's warmth. Let's appreciate the CG once again. Very nice. Freaking awesome. Feeling each other's warmth, each other's hearts between them. They were connected on a level that was quite like the stars. They were each one bright star in a million, separated by fate, but they had managed to find each other across the darkness of the sky. And that had changed everything. Serena?
Yeah?
I love you. Always.
I love you. Forever.
In the labyrinth of life, the two stars had connected, creating a brightness that was unlike any in the universe. They created their own story. They set their own chart to revolve around one another. Together, they shone so much brighter than ever on their own. And they vowed to never be forgotten. To never be apart. Always and forever. The end. It doesn't work. It's literally the end like this, I guess. Oh, wait, is it frozen? No, it's not frozen. What the heck? This is it. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was a good story, not gonna lie. I liked it a lot. And Layla was awesome. Man, I love Fox Girls. That's all I have to say. No, but overall, I really did enjoy this story. I know there was yawning, but I expect that to be happening in the videos now because I'm recording at night only. But yeah, I really did dig the story here. And I mean, hey, Mrs. Star, I'm really glad that you did the approach of going after the Fox Girl here. Not giving up. Not giving up here. Yeah. And, you know, as long as it's a healthy approach, without doing actually anything stupid, it's a good thing to not give up. If you are to do something stupid, no, just stop yourself, okay? If it's like with her, go, talk, set things straight. Yeah, it's all good. It might not end the way you want, but it might also end the way you want, right? It's 50-50 chance, kind of. But in the end, it's better to... It's even better for your own being to deal with that, kind of. I know saying deal with that sounds bad, but, you know. To not have the regret left inside of you for the later years. Something like that. So, if you guys have a fight like that, fight for it, okay? Am I gonna fight too? Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed Lost Girl. As I said, had a lot of fun. Those girls are absolutely cute, absolutely stunning, absolutely great characters. And tomorrow we'll start... Probably tomorrow. Maybe actually... I mean, I will start recording tomorrow, but maybe it will go side by side. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, be it tomorrow, be it some other day, hope to see you in some other video as well. Tomorrow. Or today, if it's also up. Who knows? Bye bye.